Welcome to the first ever episode of Josh and Tabb versus the world. This podcast is first and foremost an accountability tool for Tabb and I as we progress along in our fight against fat and our fitness and weight loss journeys. It's a place for us to check in with each other and you guys in a public way to keep ourselves on track and support each other in the process. Also, this podcast is going to be a lifestyle and pop culture podcast where we talk about stuff that we think is cool, our super important opinions on things, and thrilling accounts of all the awesome, fun adventures that we have. We might have other people or guests on here from time to time, and we might just talk about whatever we think is fun or entertaining to you in addition to the fitness stuff. But the podcast will probably grow and evolve, as we progress along our journey and kind of figure out exactly what works best for it. So thank you for tuning in, joining us on this ride, and we hope you enjoy it. So I'm Josh, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Battle of Taab, Taanab. It's an obscure Star Wars reference.
And I'm Tabitha, and you can follow me on Twitter at TabithaX, TABBITHAX, and you can find me on Instagram at, I don't ever remember my Instagram handle. It's Tabitha with how many A's at the end? TABBITHAAA. 3 A's at the end.
You should change them so they're the same.
I've
been harping on her to do this for a while.
But I'm trying to get a following, so if I change it, all my tags will be gone. So we'll see. Although on my Instagram, I don't really post a lot of my weight loss stuff. I mean, medium. You should still follow me on Instagram.
It's what the kids are doing these days.
Yeah, I do a lot of
Twitter's for old folks like
Instagram stories, so those are exciting.
Yeah.
And also, I'm starting a YouTube little blog thing that hasn't been posted yet, but it's in the works. So maybe by the next podcast, we can give you the links for that.
Well, we're going to be posting all of our content on our YouTube page anyway, and that's where that stuff will be. So.
True. So I think first off, we're going to start off with kind of our stories about how we gained weight, or in my case,
who we are and why we're doing this thing.
Right. Well, for me, my journey has been much different than Josh's.
And it's a better story than mine. So I figured,
I don't know.
You go first.
So I was born a chunky little baby. And then I think the only time I ever kind of panned out and I kind of was like at a growth spurt when I was chubby was when I was about 7. And I was like average. I was never skinny. And then as I grew up, I kept a Buddha belly type shape where I had a big belly.
Did you ever have a thick with 2 C's period?
That would probably be later on.
Now.
That probably like college was when I was like real thick. I was heavy pretty much most of my life, and when I was in elementary school, I was made fun of a lot for it. There was a specific time where these 2 twin girls that were in a grade ahead of me used to make fun of me, and the kicker of that was they were twins. And they were little people. Oh. And they wore glasses. And they had mostly normal features, but their fingers are very short, which was very obvious. But to me, it just seemed like that's just how they were. So I never really I should make fun of them for that. But they would make fun of me for being heavy. And now that I think about that as an adult, it's funny and sad to me, because it's funny that I let something like that bother me, but sad that somebody that also had some type of, not a disability, but, different.
Just something that someone else could they're obviously, not that it would be okay, but they're ripe targets for ridicule.
Exactly.
Especially with how mean kids are. And
and I think that was first grade. So I dealt with that until I was in probably middle school. And then I think everybody realized how nice and friendly I was. So they never really made fun of me. And by high school, I kind of accepted it. I didn't really fit into girl clothes very well. So I wore a lot of boys' clothes because they fit better. And so I was kind of a tomboy. And I don't know how much I weighed in high school, but I was still pretty heavy. But then when I got to college, I got really good friends that didn't care what I looked like. And so like me being the fat kid was like a joke, and it didn't bother me at all. So I was like, I don't care. I remember meeting one of my friends after she would go to the rec to work out, and we would get chili cheese fries, chicken tenders, and ice cream like at 9:00 at night. And I would eat so much junk food.
Seems like an appropriate time.
Yeah, and drink, and I was just getting heavier and heavier. And I didn't care because nobody else cared. Everybody loved me. I had great friends, and it was fine. And then I graduated from college, and after that, I kind of realized like, wow, I'm actually really heavy. And probably around then I was almost 300 pounds, and I'm only 5'5". So that's, like morbidly obese. So I still didn't really care. I cared, but not that much. And I pretty much kept up with that lifestyle, eating whatever I wanted, doing whatever I wanted, but my back would hurt all the time. And it was so bad that like I thought I had a pinched nerve or some type of back issues. And I graduated in 2009, and then I think around 2015, I decided like I needed to do something about it. And so one of my friends was getting a new pair of tennis shoes from Shoe Carnival, and they had a buy one, get one half off. So they let me use their half off to get a pair of shoes. And I'm like, I'm going to get running shoes because I'm going to start working out. And this has never worked out before. Like I've never, actually gone to the gym. In college, I went to the rec like 3 times. I got mono from the gym the one time. So I was like, I'm not going back to that gym. But so I got the running shoes, and I started walking 30 minutes a day, every day. And I did it for a month, and I kind of like became obsessed with doing it. Like I remember one time it rained and I couldn't walk outside. And I remember like, I was really tired that day. So I think I cried and then I fell asleep, and it didn't really matter that much. So I did that for a couple months. That was like at the end of the summer when I started doing that. And then by October, it starts getting darker earlier, to the point where my mom was coming to the park with me and sitting in the car because she didn't want me walking by myself. And then I was like, well, I've done this for a couple months, and, maybe it's time to get a gym membership, which is like wild because I would never do that. I was really nervous about it, but I committed to it. And I remember the first time I went to the gym, I was going by myself. So I'm like sitting in the parking lot, terrified to go in. And I was just like, okay, if you can go in, nobody's going to make fun of you. It'll be fine. And I went in and I only did 30 minutes on like an elliptical or something like that. And then I was like, okay, that's not so bad. So then I kept going, and I realized I wasn't really losing any weight. And I'm like, I'm going to the gym lots of times a week. I can't remember at that point how many times I was going, but I was only going for 30 minutes. So I was like, well, maybe I need to start going for an hour, which an hour of my evening felt really like it was taking up my whole night. But I was like, well, let me just try for a little bit. And then after that, I kind of got into a really good schedule of going, and I got better at eating and cutting out a lot of candy and sugar. And, I really like carbs, and I really like candy and ice cream. So it was a little bit difficult, but I started in the summer, and I think by almost in a year, I think I lost almost like 80 pounds or 70 pounds, which is crazy. And after that, I got like a lot of confidence. So I started dating, like going on dates and stuff like that. And we would go out for dates, and we would have like beers and go out to dinner. And I had like not drank for like 6 or 7 months because I was so committed to the gym. And so between drinking, going out, eating, I was like not losing as much weight as I was before. And then once I met Josh, I got super comfortable, and we got busy being social and doing all this fun stuff, which I don't regret because we have so much fun doing all the things. But I stopped going to the gym as much, and I was still going to the gym, but I wasn't eating as well, which those go hand in hand. So, and I gained about 30 or 40 pounds back. So, and that's about where I'm at right now. Not his fault, my fault, I would say. But
yeah, I blame myself more than you blame me.
No, so I think that's where I'm at now, and I'm back at wanting to, get back to where I was. Problem is that we do a lot of social stuff, and it involves drinking, and I love having some drinks. So it's real hard for me to balance that out, but
it's funny that you say that because it like 90% of those functions I'm DDing you.
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying for me, not for you, but I don't know. I'm so used to being the chubby kid, so it's not like anything new for me. But for you never had, you grew up as like a skinny kid that played sports. And I mean, I played sports. I played basketball in 5th and 6th grade, and I was a cheerleader. And then after that, I excelled in the academics because I wasn't good at sports. So, but yours is way different than mine.
Yeah. So good segue. So yeah, Tabb and I's stories are different. I don't know that I was like a skinny kid, but I definitely wasn't like a fat kid.
You're average. I've seen pictures of you as a child, and you were not. Yeah. You were not eating McDonald's every day like I was.
No, I was just dreaming I could.
Parenting, good parenting.
Yeah. And so, I did play high school sports, played soccer in high school and a little bit in college. And then I got to college and they talk about the freshman 15. Well, I gained the freshman 50.
Did you have a meal plan when you were in college?
Hell yeah, brother.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And mine was open for Wendy's and Steak Escape, and
yeah. Thankfully, we didn't have that stuff but we did have.
I was eating Baconators there.
Yeah, no, it'd have been worse. Mm-hmm. So, and I got hurt, so I wasn't playing. I ended up quitting soccer, and so I wasn't really working out. And I was like on my own, for the first time, and kind of like free reign. So I gained a bunch of weight. I think I was probably like at my heaviest in that period. I was probably like in the 180s, and then.
But you're only like 5'4", so that's not. Are you 5'4" or 5'5"?
I'm 5'4", and I carried all in my stomach.
Yeah, if you see Josh from behind, you cannot tell that he's overweight at all because his back and his legs are very skinny. It's crazy. Yeah. I wish I had that. And
then, and then I had like a fitness conscious girlfriend, so I got back down to like I was like working out and. And becoming like suddenly single it has proven to be a motivator for me, apparently. So, but like, I dated a girl who was like into fitness. So I lost, I got back down to starting my senior year, I was like 150. And then
my dream.
And then slowly from there, I think by the time I was out of college, I might have been back up to like 180. And then the most I've ever weighed, what would have been like in the spring of 2018, I weighed like 231.
That's wild to me.
And so, and the thing for me is that I have like a lot of motivational issues, a lot of starting and stopping. Like if you were to scour the internet, you were an internet private eye and you were to scour the internet, you would find like tons of different like blog posts and stuff where I'm like, I'm finally doing it. I know I said I was going to do it before, but I'm doing it now. And like a bunch of those kind of things, like several times, like starting and stopping. And like the perfect example of that, like problem that I have is that in 2011, like trying to find some sort of, something that worked for me, I downloaded, or I found out about DDP yoga, now known as DDPY. So don't tell Dallas I called it yoga; he'll be mad. But I found that program and I signed up for it. I got the DVDs. It's a yoga calisthenics body weight program ran by WWE Hall of Famer Diamond Dallas Page. So that's like right up my alley as a wrestling fan. And the other reason that it's like a good idea for me and that I was attracted to it is that it's like, I don't think they can advertise like zero impact, but it's like super low impact. And what I've found is like when I try to run or do anything like that, where there's like impact, I'm like really in pain. Like I have, my back hurts, my legs hurt, my ankles hurt. So like a workout program with that promises little to no impact is like perfect for me. So, so in 2011, I got on this program, and then, it was like DVDs, and then it turned into like later he has like a Netflix type like streaming app where you can do all the programs online. That like I pay for that program. And I've even met and done yoga with Dallas twice now. So I've met him 3 times, and then and each time I've tried to use it as like a come to Jesus moment where I've been like, hey man, I have your program, but I suck. I can't do it consistent. Like I haven't been able to figure out how to do it consistently. Like whip me into shape, and in his way, he is very like supportive, but also like, hey man, like light a fire under your ass. Let's do this. And so a lot of starting and stopping with that. And I still am striving to add that to my regimen, because I think that the flexibility will help like the impact issues. And then maybe I will actually be able to run and do stuff like that because I'll be, more limber. But then, the other thing with it also is that, the thing that pulls everybody in is all these like stories of people not only gaining back their flexibility, but like just losing tons of weight too. So, and being able to do things that they were never able to do. There's like a really famous story of a former paratrooper vet who like couldn't walk without hand crutches and a back brace. And now he's like one of the guys on the videos, like, bending himself into a pretzel, and he can like sprint and do all this stuff he could never do. But anyway, I'm not trying to make this episode like a personal plug for DDP yoga.
No, but I never, I think yoga is kind of, and then you showed it to me and how many people have benefited from it. And he's, Dallas does it. I feel like he does it because he cares and that he wants people to be better, not just, obviously, he's selling it, but he really, honestly really cares. And when you meet him, you can tell how much he cares about, how well you're doing in it and stuff like that. Just cool.
Totally. Yeah. So motivation has just been like a real issue for me. And like, I usually can't keep myself doing, the thing like, I gave up pop for a long time, and then like I came back to that. I gave up fast food for a long time, and now I'm back. I've done a lot of different things to try to make this better for myself, and I seem to have a very hard time sticking to anything. So, and then the other thing that, and I think what has become like the most important reason for all of this for me is that, during this process, once I got over, I think once I hit like 200, and probably even before that, I've really started to see some health problems related to it. So when I said that I gave up pop and fast food, the reason that I actually did that was because, like, I went and I had a night where like my heart was racing and I had a lot of chest pain, and so I went to the hospital and I found out that I have GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. So I have like really bad heartburn and like things like that. And my doctor told me that it's all, it's because of my weight, like, and that if I lost 20 pounds, which is actually less than I want to lose, 20, 30 pounds, that it would be gone. And then also the even bigger thing is that I've been, and I think this affects everything. I've been kind of sleepwalking through the last several years of my life. Because I've known, without a real diagnosis, I've known through like what people have told me that hear me sleeping and stuff, like probably since at least 2012 that I have sleep apnea. And I finally like took care of that this year and did the sleep study and stuff. And so I found out that,
I think you knew that you had sleep apnea, but you were trying to, fix yourself at losing weight before you went and got it.
I was like, I don't need to do that expensive sleep study and get that mask. I'm just going to lose weight and then it'll go away. But
towards the end, before you did that, you would be snoring so loud, and then you would stop snoring, and I would think that you were just not snoring anymore, and it was because you weren't breathing.
And then wouldn't I gasp really loud?
And then you would gasp really loud, and then like right before you got the study done, you were, usually you would inhale very loudly, and then you would not breathe, and then you would make a really like odd exhaling sound, which is really scary. And I think then eventually, you were so exhausted that you were barely able to stay awake during the day that you were like, I have to get this done.
Yeah, no, I was falling asleep at my desk at work, and I was having memory problems, and just wasn't good. So finally went and got that done and found out that I'm like, in an hour, I stopped breathing 33 times.
33 times an hour, and it only records it if you stop breathing for a minute or more.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because it detects it. So, like, you're depriving oxygen into your brain and your heart, which you're not, it's not good for anything. So that's...
Yeah. So the good news is I have the CPAP and all my numbers are good. The bad news is that I hate the machine. I feel like it makes it harder to fall and stay asleep. So I'm still having trouble with sleeping somewhat, but it definitely has changed my waking hours. I feel like I remember things better. I can think of things better, and I'm not like tired all the time. And that is shown in the fact that like I not only am I not like falling asleep in inappropriate times or being super tired, I also like am currently on a today was my 93rd day in a row that I went to the gym or worked out. And then, which is like, that might not sound impressive, but for someone with motivational issues and having like the biggest struggle for me is just getting my butt there. And I say that, and like there were literally times where I would be feeling crappy. I would get the motivation to go, and then I'd pull into the parking lot. I'd sit there for a minute, and then I'd go home, like instead of going in. Like so, I'd get there, but then I couldn't like compulse myself to actually go in and do it. So there's that, and then. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that you think I covered all the bases there. Did I talk too long?
You tried a lot of times to go to the gym, but you were always so tired. Like you would get yourself to the gym, but you wouldn't have a good workout because you'd be so exhausted, and you wanted to try to go to the gym in the morning, but you were just so exhausted because you were literally like, I can't remember. So it was about 30 times an hour. So if you're sleeping like, 6 hours a night, like that's like 180 minutes that you're not like breathing in your sleep. And sleep is important for memory, it's important for muscle repair, and so like you even if you were going to the gym every day, I don't think you would have been getting good workouts because you were just in such a bad shape, you know.
We have to have the energy to make it work.
Yeah. So now, I mean, you have gone to the gym like so, you know, you're on a streak and you might be tired, but I think your tired is a different tired than it was before you were diagnosed with your sleep apnea. And our hope is that eventually once you lose enough weight that it goes away, because that's a possible thing that can happen.
Well, I think that's why I've developed it, because I don't think I've always had it.
No. But your snores used to be so loud though. So I'm happy that you have it. I know it sucks that you have to wear a mask, but for anybody out there that you know think you might have it, your life will be like so much better.
Go get it checked out. It's worth it.
You know, it might be a little expensive, but like, you know, if you don't get it checked out and you leave it go, like a lot of people you can die from that. Like you can literally have a heart attack in your sleep and just die from it. So, yeah, and it's not that big of a deal. It's fine. Like he wears the mask and like when he first got the mask, I would always have to check to make sure he was still alive because he was sleeping so quietly and the machines are so quiet these days. Like you can't even tell. Like it's great. And I'm glad you finally did it. So yeah, and we go to the, you know, you actually pushed me now to go to the gym because a lot of times I'm tired and I don't really want to go, and you are the one that's pushing me to go, which is funny because, you know, when we first met, I remember you messaging me being like, why aren't you going, you know, how do you go to the gym every single day? Or
okay, so now that we've droned on for 3 days about our histories, and don't worry, like this is like the intro podcast, so we won't be, there won't be as much expose from here on out, I think, you know. So in addition to kind of like updating and talking each week about like where we are in our fitness journeys, we will also be talking about other fun stuff that we like to do, or that we're interested in, or so, you know, there's a lot, we have a lot of shared interests, and then we have some stuff that like that we're individually into that I think that we'll talk about. You want to, like, maybe it's stupid, but you want to play popcorn, and we'll just like kind of list off what some of those things that we like and might talk about are? Or is that stupid?
No, that's good. Do you have anything first? I got to think about it.
Okay. Professional wrestling. And actually, I will just to give you a little bit more time. I will say that includes like maybe talking about something that's going on in wrestling, or something from the dirt sheets, but also could be like talking about. We actually go to a lot of professional wrestling events, whether it be conventions or actual independent shows, or like WWE shows. So we might, if something interesting or fun happens at those, we could be talking about those.
Mm-hmm. We go to a lot of cons, so we're looking forward to the Arnold Sports Expo that's coming up. Normally we do a whole 3-day weekend, but this year we're going to Star Wars Celebration, which is a huge deal. So we're probably only going to hit up the Arnold one day, which is plenty. Because that's like a gold mine of free samples and just, seeing all the new stuff that's going on in the fitness world. And usually, is it Hafthor Bjorn? How do you say his name?
Hafthor Bjornsson.
Yeah, he's always there.
Yeah, the mountain from Game of Thrones. He is a world record holding powerlifter.
And then
strongman.
Usually Mark Henry is the one that's hosting it, and I love him.
Which is fun.
He used to be a wrestler.
And last year we met Kurt Angle, a WWE legend, and we also, like, on a total fluke, met Ronda Rousey. Which,
we forgot to hand Clay Guida.
Okay, but there's
She was the
face. Yeah, but she was the face of UFC for like two or 3 years.
Before Ronda came along, there was this handsome fella named Clay Guida who would come out to an Alkaline Trio song. He's not very good anymore, but he won my heart over with that song. And then Ronda Rousey comes through.
What song did he come out to?
Stupid Kid by Alkaline Trio.
Okay.
But then, Ronda Rousey came around, she dominated, and then she didn't do so good, but WWE picked her up, and now she is a superstar.
Well, I think we got lucky because we saw her, like, I think she had just signed, but they hadn't done anything with her. Like, so she would have just debuted, like, when she did that awkward thing where she came out at the end of the Women's Royal Rumble and pointed at the WrestleMania sign.
Mm-hmm.
So this would have been... That would have already happened, so she'd already be in WWE, but her future would have kind of been a little uncertain because WrestleMania hadn't happened yet, and that's kind of where her stuff started. So we got her in this point where she's like no longer in the UFC, but hasn't done anything in WWE yet. So she's like, it was, we got lucky that she was doing this like signing picture thing. And then
we managed to catch her at the end of the day. Like we were like, so close to not meeting her, and by some miracle it was almost the end of the con. We had like 10 minutes left and we got to meet her.
Yeah, well, and we only got to meet her because she was being really nice about not cutting our line off and staying. Yeah. So
it was wild though because she's a tiny girl.
Yeah. Yep.
And is that the only people we met there? Oh, well, no. You know who we met? Gail Kim's husband.
Yep, Robert Irvine.
Oh my God, I still think about it sometimes. His back was so muscular. It was great.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to focus on like the most famous person we met. That's all.
Excuse me. He had a Food Network show. He is a host or a judge on one of the cooking shows. He has a bar named after him.
Is he going to headline WrestleMania this year?
He could. Have you seen his muscles? He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. So we do a lot of stuff like that, though. We do that, and then we might try
to swing a C2E2 event.
Yeah, we normally go to C2E2. I think this year would have been like my 7th C2E2, but because of Star Wars Celebration being in Chicago, which is a big thing because it's normally like not close. It's in like Anaheim or it's in London.
Josh is a Star Wars fanatic. I don't know anybody that likes Star Wars more than Josh. So this is like a 5-day event, and your girl's trying to meet Mark Hamill. So and Oscar Isaac.
That'd be really cool if they announced
I would die.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah.
Anyway.
So and for those that don't know, Star Wars Celebration is like a convention that is like it's the size of San Diego Comic-Con, but instead, San Diego Comic-Con has like, people from all different media and different movies and different. So you can go there and you can buy Lord of the Rings stuff and meet Lord of the Rings people and buy Star Wars stuff and buy Star Trek stuff. But this is like that, but it's just all Star Wars. So it's all Star Wars guests. It's all Star Wars panels. It's all Star Wars merchandise. So.
But yeah, we're still going to try to go to C2E2, and that will be an adventure because there's wrestlers there, and Josh won a free pass for the weekend.
Yep, I did.
Had a promo at a wrestling convention, and he got a free 3-day pass. Yep. And Paul Rudd's going to be there, and I know this is,
Paul first con.
And Paul Rudd's a handsome fella, so we're hoping that some wrestlers.
You're sounding real thirsty tonight, Tab.
No, I'm just saying. So I'm saying, my hope is, which isn't going to happen, but my dream team of people that would be at a con that I would love to meet. Big Show. I just want to have an embrace with him, like a little hug, and Shaq. And if they did a dual photo op, I would have them pick me up in the picture. And Josh, you could just not be in the picture. It's fine. No,
that's fine.
I'm just kidding.
That's fine. I get my own picture. I get my own picture with them.
Shaq can make candy rain from the sky. So,
what is that a reference to?
Kazam.
Oh, okay.
He's a genie. He makes the candy just rain. As a child, that was my dream. It was a fat kid dream. Let's talk about this because this is
be real. It's still your dream.
If it is, no, that's real. I love McDonald's as a child.
Surprised that you don't love the song "Candy Rain" by Soul for Real.
I didn't know about it until about a year ago when you're like, "Let me tell you about this song, Tab."
Oh, I introduced you to Candy Rain way earlier than a year ago, but that's
maybe a couple years ago. But
so we're gonna try to swing maybe like a day. We're hoping that the stars align and there's a couple good things going on, like on the Saturday or something, and then we can go and do a couple photo ops or something. Ride the train in. And then we have a weekend of wrestling events coming up soon, so we'll definitely be talking about that after it happens. So in addition to like that stuff, we go to Riot Fest most years. We'll probably
this year we already bought our tickets.
That. Yeah, we already bought our tickets.
We're hoping for a Tom DeLonge reunion for Blink-182.
Yep.
We know it's going to happen.
Not super confident, but we'll see. That'd be the best case scenario.
So what band would you want to see most if at Riot Fest?
I think the top three are like are we doing like Pie in the Sky? I mean, it's got to fit within like the Riot Fest framework, but like no limits on creativity. Yeah. Okay, so it would be My Chem Reunion.
Hell yeah.
Fall Out Boy playing Just Take This to Your Grave.
Yeah.
And Blink-182 reunion with Tom DeLonge.
So mine would be, depending on if we see Death Cab in February.
We are, and it's in June.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, I was thinking, okay. So, Death Cab for sure. That's like my only bucket list band that I've never got to see that I want to see so bad. And then I think, so I really like reunion bands from like the 2000s. So like, the first year we went to Riot Fest, they had Mest, they had The Movie Life, and they had the Academy is all playing. So that those were like all like the dream team. So I'm hoping like maybe like my favorite band is Hidden in Plain View, and the lead singer is now a teacher. But I bet he could still swing it. Like I would die if they were playing. So I say Death Cab for Cutie, Hidden in Plain View, even though they probably would never be there, and.
I don't know. They had Spitalfield last year, so
that's true. And I saw Spitalfield with Hidden in Plain View. And what would be the third? Like somebody that I want to see real bad. I like Paramore. I haven't seen them in a long time. That might be a fun time.
Yeah,
I feel like they're reachable.
You just reminded me. So if I could add a fourth as an honorable mention, I think Magic Romance would be cool.
Oh no! You know who I want to see? Would want to see. What are they called? Car Underwater.
Oh, Armor for Sleep. Yeah.
That would be good.
I know they had like a reunion show a couple years ago, and we decided not to go to it, and we're both like regretting it since then.
Well, it was in the dead of winter, in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
And like
it's like on a Wednesday in February.
And like snow was, possibly.
I don't think it was close. I think it was in like Lansing or something. Yeah. It was like in a weird place.
Yeah. So I think. Oh yeah, so that would be good. What other band? I don't know. I could go on forever.
Obviously, just bring Aquabats back for sure.
Oh, I love Aquabats. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a cool hip hop group. Like it'd be nice to see Wu-Tang Clan, and I know that they've played it before. Not a year that I went, but
Outkast.
Outkast would be cool.
Oh, I would die. I would die if Outkast came, or even Ice Cube if he came back.
Yeah, but we've already seen him and at Riot Fest, so.
It was good though.
It was good. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could happen, or none of those things. So.
Well, it's their 15th year, so you never know.
Yeah. Should be interesting.
And I feel like now that we went 1 year and then we took a couple years off and we came back, so now we're kind of seasoned, so we know how to escape the heat, what porta potties are clean, that have toilet paper.
We have some increased intel.
Yeah.
We also know to go to the Dos Equis tent early to get the glasses.
The free sunglasses that they're giving out, yeah. Yeah, that's yeah.
So there's a lot of like little adventure things that we'll talk about when we do, and
it might be fun to discuss. Like we travel, we don't travel like super far, but we do travel a good deal. So I think it'll be fun to try to talk about like because like when we travel, I try to pack our lunches a lot, not only to save money, but because it's a little bit healthier. So I think it might be fun to like talk to you guys about how we, pack our lunches and how like when we go to the Arnold, there's not a lot of places to eat in there. So I usually pack our lunches, which is A, healthier, and B, cheaper, and C, it saves us time.
Yep.
So, and I think a lot of people when they travel, they just say like, oh, we're on vacation. We don't have to worry about what we're eating, but that's just as important as, regular time. So.
Yeah, you could definitely take a couple steps back if you don't, if you're not good about it. So.
Yeah.
So in addition to all that stuff, we also like, we like comic books and movies and music and TV and video games and books. And so, we'll probably talk about stuff like that. Like if we just finished a book or something, or just saw something really cool on TV, or saw a cool movie or anything like that, we could talk about those things and give our review and opinions. And we're both trying to read a lot more this year. And usually we see, 90% of like comic book and pop culture movies like pretty quickly, like opening weekend and such. So most of the time, we'll be on the cutting edge of some of that stuff too.
Yeah, I think our after Star Wars Celebration podcast will be real crisp because we'll have a lot of
Well, we're going to record a podcast every day we're there, so
every day. I think we're going to be pretty busy standing in lines and
perfect
watching
time
panels and stabbing people for exclusives. Sweating a lot.
So there's one thing that's kind of more your thing than my thing, but I think I've been kind of pushing you to use our social media and to use this as a platform for it. You know what that is?
YouTubing?
No.
What? Crafting? Why? Wait, what?
No, I was saying something that you're into that I'm not really into, but that I think that you could use the podcast as a platform to talk about.
That's true. I need to get more. I love crafting. That's like my number one hobby, but I get, busy with working out and, whatnot, but
all the other stuff we just listed.
Basically, yeah. But I just got a new Cricut and I'm going to, organize my craft area, and I think it's gonna be a lot better. Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, no, that's you read comics like crazy though. That's something I don't do. You're like a comic boy.
Yeah, but you're into it. You're just not into that piece of it.
Reading comics?
Well, you're into we went and saw a pre-screening of Aquaman.
Oh no, I love movies, but I'm just saying like you are up to date on what comics do you have in your pull?
Like, what do I have in my pull right now?
Mm-hmm.
So my pull got so huge that I had to take a step back and decide to kind of say I don't need single issues of certain things anymore. I'm going to read those. I'm going to catch up and read those and buy trade paperbacks later on. But I do still get basically every Star Wars comic that comes out. And I get all of the IDW Ninja Turtles, which there's like the mainline Ninja Turtles, and then there's like Urban Ninja Turtles Urban Legends, and then there's TMNT Universe. Those are all like play into the same thing. And so another thing that I really like other than Star Wars is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have a tattoo of Donatello on my arm, and the Turtles comic is like one of my favorite things ever. It's like the perfect melding of all the stuff that I love from the movies and the comics and the TV show.
If you can hear that beeping, we have clocks that beep every hour, and it's only 10:58 at this moment, but I guarantee you in 2 more minutes, the other one's going to go off. It's like a fun thing you can't hear the news.
I'm just going to leave that in too. I don't even think I'm going to
It's okay. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. So the first thing that I always would ever, like if someone was like, what if there's one comic series that you could recommend, that like it's definitely that one. Is the perfect Turtles thing. And then, Star Wars, I can eat up anything, any Star Wars stories that I can get, Tabb said I was the biggest Star Wars fan she knows, but I've read every Star Wars novel that's been released, with the exception of I should say every Star Wars novel that's been released that's not a children's book, and then there's like a handful of YA ones that I haven't read, and there's like one new YA one I haven't read, because I've actually been reading since the canon got restarted in 2015. I've been reading every novel that comes out in the new canon, so I'm caught up on the new canon, with the exception of like one book that was about young Han Solo and Emilia Clarke's character in Solo. Which I can't remember what it's called. So my favorite thing about Star Wars has always been the books. So comic books are just an extension of those, expanded universe stories, and just another way to get more of my Star Wars fix. So,
but a fun fact for me is that I had never seen a single Star Wars movie. I saw one with one of my ex-boyfriends, and but when I met Josh, like I didn't know, and like I don't know how this happened, but I grew up like not. Like I didn't Star Wars. Like
she didn't know Darth Vader was Luke's father.
That's true. I didn't know. Like one of the kids I dated, I made him a Star Wars like craft for Christmas, and I was like Googling gold robot or furry guy with hood or robot thing, because I had no idea what any of the characters' names were. Like I was like, are they just like shooting each other in space? Like, what is going on? Like, is Luke and Leia married? Like, I don't know what's going on. And then, I saw it, and it was, and the thing about seeing it with Josh was he knows everything, so he could explain it to me, like about, Yoda and just, Yoda being a shyster. And
it's like her favorite thing of the whole series is the scene where where Luke first encounters Yoda in Empire Strikes Back, and he's pretending like he hasn't revealed that he's Yoda yet, and he's like fucking with Luke, and
he's like riding on Yoda on Luke's back, and like.
Well, no, that's later when they're training.
Oh, is
but
it?
Like, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like when he's like trying to steal the light, he's eating his like rations, and he's trying to steal the light from R2D2, and he's like going mine, and he's like hitting R2D2 in his face.
It's so funny. I had no idea.
She refers to him as Shyster Yoda.
Yeah, it was so good, and it was good because you could explain everything to me, and I don't know how I went. Like, yeah, it was probably like 28, and I 28 years without knowing.
Yeah, and now you really like it. Maybe
I love it. Yeah,
but
my first Halloween costume with you was Ewok.
Yeah.
The cutest Ewok in this galaxy.
Yep, right after Warwick.
Rude.
Who's going to be at Star Wars Celebration, so we might meet him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's I don't know. As fun as it is to make fun of you for not knowing, it was a fun experience for me to go through it with you. With like,
I mean, how many people do you know in their 30s that have never seen Star Wars before and know anything about it? Like,
those are usually people that I don't really want to know.
Well, and I was always a nerd, but I just never. Nobody was ever like, "Hey, Tab, you want to watch Star Wars?" Yeah. I mean, one of my friends growing up in high school, her brother loved Star Wars, and I was like, it's a space movie. Like, who cares? And when the 1999 movie came out,
yeah, Phantom Menace.
My parents bought me a Jar Jar Binks inflatable chair that was purple, and it had Jar Jar Binks from KB Toys, and it deflated very quickly, so we took it back because it like wasn't working, and they bought me a Darth Maul inflatable chair because he had a higher back because he's a bigger character. And I was like, oh, I'm living my best life with this inflatable furniture. And I think it never, I don't know what happened to it, but like I had no idea. Like Jar Jar Binks is the worst character. And so like I never knew anything about it. They just got me these chairs. That was the same year that my dad got me Red Wings. When did the Red Wings win did they win the Stanley Cup or something like that?
Tab.
What?
Don't ask questions. Like, did the Red Wings win the Stanley Cup or something?
I don't no. What year was it when they did that?
97, 98, 2002.
Okay, so
2008.
So it would have been 99. So he got me like the 98 version and shirt, and I never watched hockey because I was more of a football fan. So he got me and my brother both these like, you know, championship T-shirts, and I'm like, I don't know anything about hockey.
Well, now you love hockey.
Oh no, I love it so much.
You loved hockey before you.
Well, so I loved hockey when I got into college. We went to every single home game. It was so good. And my cousin played hockey growing up, and I always wanted to, you know, I was jealous, but it's real expensive to play hockey. So, no, yeah. So you've opened me up to a lot of things, and I'm happy about that. Yeah. So yeah, we kind of rambled on, but that's pretty much what the podcast is going to be about. Weight loss and all the cool things that we like. So nerdy stuff, a little bit of sports, and weight loss. Yeah.
And in that weight loss stuff too, there'll also be like, we might talk about like different routines or different workouts or different like products, wearable tech, you know, different diets, different
pre-workouts, and
you know, different, just supplements, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Stuff that we're using or stuff that we've heard about. And
stuff we didn't like.
Yep.
Reviews.
So yeah, it'll be really good around Arnold season because we get a lot of samples and we can kind of go through those and stuff too.
That's nice because you can try a sample for free, and if you don't like it, you know, you don't have to buy the full serving. And especially on Sundays at the Arnold, they just literally stand in their booths and make it rain supplements, including canned items. So you don't want to get hit in the head with the 16-ounce can of pre-workout.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think, you know, it'd be good.
Yep. So that was episode 1 of Josh and Tabb versus the world. Please bear with us. That, like I said, we won't be droning on like we did earlier in the episode. And also, we will normally be recording this podcast live together with a mic setup. So
we're in the midst of a snowstorm right now, so I can't be there to be with you.
We're doing this over the web, and so because of that, it might sound a little weird, but after this episode, they will sound a lot more crispy.
They'll be better, and Josh is like a podcast king. He had his own little radio show in college, and I'm just a girl that is not. I'm a little shy, so bear with me because he's great at this. I'm working on it.
You're good. So, yeah. So, like I said, episode 1. More episodes to come. We're going to do this once a week, and looking to publish on Mondays, I think. So, and like I said, we'll keep everyone posted on these on our social medias and stuff. So.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited for it.
That's that. We'll check you guys next week.
Bye.